There are things we rarely speak of, yet everyone senses them. First impressions don't begin with words, they begin with a look. You walk into a room without saying a word, and instantly, people form an image of you in their minds. The interesting part is that impression doesn't depend on how expensive your outfit is or how on-trend your makeup appears. It stems from something far more subtle: the way you carry your appearance as a silent message. Elegance doesn't need to be proven, nor does it need to be displayed. It's a quiet language with powerful influence. And because of that, the small choices you make and how you care for your appearance, even unconsciously, may end up sending a message that doesn't reflect your true self. This video is not about judgment or criticism. It's a gentle invitation for us to take a moment and reflect. Does the image we project truly represent our confidence and inner worth? In recent years, false eyelashes, especially long, thick, and dramatically curled extensions, have become one of the most popular beauty trends. It's undeniable that long curled lashes can make the eyes appear larger and more captivating. However, like everything in life, anything that exceeds balance can easily become counterproductive. When lashes become overly long, overly thick, or clearly artificial, your natural beauty is no longer enhanced. It is veiled behind a kind of theatrical curtain. People no longer see your eyes, they see your lashes. And in doing so, they miss the most profound emotional connection between human beings: the sincerity in the eyes. Even more importantly, heavy, exaggerated lashes don't just affect your appearance, they send a silent message that perhaps you don't fully trust in your own natural beauty, that you feel the need to mask your real eyes to be attractive. But in reality, the opposite is true. When you believe in your natural charm, you no longer have to try so hard to be noticed, and that quiet confidence is what truly captivates others. Gentle self-assurance is always the most attractive quality, and it never needs to be heavily made up to be seen. Artificial-looking lashes may cause people to misunderstand you as someone constantly craving attention or trying to validate herself through her appearance. In environments such as the workplace, meetings, or formal gatherings, this can reduce the level of professionalism and maturity you wish to convey. Rather than focusing on the conversation, others may find themselves distracted by details that feel out of place. So how do you maintain captivating eyes without sacrificing subtlety? Start with gentler choices. If you still love curled lashes, choose false lashes that are modest in thickness and length, ones that enhance your gaze without hiding it. Or better yet, return to a quality mascara, one that naturally lengthens and curls, brightens your eyes while keeping the look sincere and soft. The area around your eyes tells your story. It's where connection begins, where others feel warmth, empathy, and closeness. When heavy lashes overpower that space, you don't just lose part of your body language, you inadvertently build a wall between yourself and others. True beauty never needs to be displayed. It comes from believing in yourself, from the harmony between your outer and inner worlds. A genuine gaze, unmasked and unforced, says more than any layer of makeup ever could. And when you dare to reveal your real eyes with lashes that are soft and natural, you become not only elegant, but unforgettable, as a woman who respects and truly loves herself. The lips are a natural focal point of the face, where words are spoken, where smiles bloom, and where our most intimate emotions are quietly expressed. When well cared for, harmonized with the skin tone and the eyes, the lips can brighten the entire face. However, in recent beauty trends, especially those influenced by social media, there is one lip style that has become a double-edged sword. Heavily lined lips in a tone that clashes with your natural lip color, often paired with a thick layer of glossy, glue-like lipstick. At first glance, this lip style might seem bold and alluring, but in everyday settings, particularly in professional environments, formal meetings, or daily interactions, it can easily make others feel uncomfortable. Why? Because lips that are overly sharp, overly shiny, lose their subtle charm. They are no longer a delicate accent, but instead become the center of attention, overshadowing everything else: your gaze, expressions, and even your presence. A common mistake is using lip liners that are far darker than the lipstick or your natural lip tone. When combined with high shine gloss that reflects intense light, the lips no longer appear soft and inviting. They seem overly drawn, artificial. This not only affects your appearance but sends the wrong message, that you're trying to make a statement through appearance alone, rather than allowing people to feel your inner confidence and maturity. These overly glossy, heavily outlined lips are often associated with the so-called new money aesthetic, where everything must scream for attention to make an impression. But true elegance, real beauty doesn't need to shout to be seen. It flows from restraint, from how you choose lipstick tones that blend with your natural coloring, and from knowing you don't need to try so hard to be captivating. So what's the solution? Return to the basics. Harmony. A small but powerful tip is to look at the center of your lower lip where the natural pigmentation is usually deeper, and choose a liner and lipstick that match that hue. Pick lip shades that look as though you were born with them, then layer on a tinted balm or satin finish lipstick for just the right touch of sheen. If you want a bit of flair, try a hint of shimmer or a softly blurred outline, but don't stray too far from your skin tone and overall facial balance. A beautiful mouth is one that invites people to listen, to smile with you. It should never confuse or distract the person in front of you. When you choose subtlety over exaggeration, you don't just elevate your look, you also send a deeper message that you know how to command attention with quiet strength, with thoughtful words, and with refined grace. And that kind of beauty is unforgettable. Foundation, as its name implies, is meant to be a base, a support, a quiet backdrop that lets the natural features of the face shine through. But unfortunately, in practice, many people turn that base into the main character. We're drawn in by promises like flawless coverage or porcelain skin, and before we know it, the foundation is layered so thickly and blended so meticulously that the real skin underneath disappears. But here's the truth. The more we try to cover up, the more we lose what's real. And anything that looks too perfect, too artificial, often makes people feel unsure. A face that's been overly concealed, even if flawless, can still give others a sense that something is off. Because real beauty doesn't come from erasing every trace of imperfection, it comes from a sense of trustworthiness. A few freckles, a bit of redness around the nose, or a tiny beauty mark. These are signs that you are a real person, not a retouched photo. And that's what makes you feel approachable and relatable. Another common mistake is choosing a foundation shade that doesn't match the skin tone of your neck or shoulders. It might seem fine under store lighting, but look completely different in natural daylight. When the foundation is too pale or too yellow, it can make your face feel disconnected from the rest of your body. And when there's that visual mismatch, no matter how carefully you've applied your makeup, the overall effect lacks harmony, it lacks soul. So how do you let foundation truly elevate your look, rather than take away from it? First, test it along your jawline and check it under natural light. The best shade is the one that almost vanishes into your skin because it blends perfectly. Second, avoid covering the entire face. Use just enough product, focusing on areas that truly need it, under the eyes, around the nose, near the corners of the mouth, places that tend to look dull or red. Let the rest of your skin breathe. If you feel your face looks pale after applying foundation, don't rush to add another layer. Instead, bring life back to the skin with a touch of blush, a soft bronzer, or a subtle highlighter. These sheer, transparent layers, when applied with care, will make your skin look both real and radiant, while still reflecting the poise and maturity of your age. Remember, people aren't impressed by a face that looks like glass. They're drawn to a confident gaze, healthy skin, and a calm, steady presence. The best foundation is not the thickest one, it's the one that makes people forget you're wearing any. And when you're gentle in the way you care for your skin, you not only look more beautiful, you also send out a deeply valuable message. that you love yourself enough not to hide behind layers of makeup. Eyebrows are the frame of the face, and a good frame doesn't steal attention from the artwork. It quietly supports and enhances it. Yet today, many people have turned that frame into the most eye-catching feature. Brows are brushed sharply upward, set stiff with gel, drawn in with dark ink-like pigments and ruler-straight edges. On social media, this type of brow can create a strong visual impact, but in real life, especially for mature women, it often makes the face appear unnatural, even harsh. The issue isn't in being meticulous. Taking care with your appearance is admirable. But when eyebrows become overly emphasized, they can throw off the entire balance of the face. The features no longer feel soft instead. They unintentionally become rigid. Sometimes, brows that are too sharp make your gaze feel stern, distant, and less approachable. Another problem arises when eyebrows are either too dark or too different from your hair color. This can create confusion in how your age, style, or personality is perceived. Very dark brows on someone with silver or light hair can make the face look heavy and disconnected from the energy it's meant to convey. Instead of expressing refinement, they suggest you're trying too hard to maintain an image. So what's the right approach? The answer lies in subtlety and harmony. Start by choosing an eyebrow shade that complements your hair color. If your hair is dark, go a shade lighter for your brows. If your hair is light or gray, slightly darker brows can provide gentle definition. Absolutely avoid brow products that are pitch black, reddish, or purplish tones commonly found in low-quality items that often look artificial. Instead of filling in the entire brow with heavy strokes, use a fine pencil or powder to draw light lines that follow the natural hair direction as though you're extending your real brow hairs. If you already have defined brows, a bit of clear or tinted brow gel is enough to keep them in place. Avoid setting them too upright like they've been frozen with glue. If your brows are sparse, consider using a light tinting product. It's effective, time-saving, and maintains a natural softness. Most importantly, don't let your eyebrows walk into the room before you do. If people remember your brows more than your words after a conversation, their attention has landed in the wrong place. Beautiful eyebrows should brighten your face, deepen your gaze, and bring harmony to your features, not make everything look like a staged performance. When you know when to dial things back and choose softness over sharpness, you don't just achieve an elegant look, you also demonstrate a deep understanding of yourself. And that kind of refinement, when your brows reflect your personality, not just makeup trends, is what truly leaves a lasting impression. Not because it's striking, but because it's just right. Hands, the part of us that touches the world, holds, receives, and gives, are often the most approachable and telling feature of a woman. They don't just reflect self-care. They reveal aesthetic taste, refinement, and even personality. A handshake, a gesture during conversation, or a simple moment of lifting a teacup. All of these can leave a lasting impression. But what happens when what others remember isn't you, but your overly long, sharp, sparkly nails? Today, with the rise of nail art, manicures have become a form of personal expression and creativity. However, the line between expressing individuality and losing elegance is extremely thin. Extra-long stiletto nails, neon colors, intricate patterns, rhinestones, or cartoon designs may look great on social media, but in real life, especially for mature women, these styles can feel excessive. They often come across as trying to appear younger or flashier, rather than conveying the quiet confidence that already resides within you. Not only do overly ornate nails draw attention in the wrong way, they also diminish the effect of your more elegant details, such as a delicate ring, a graceful bracelet, or even a crisp white blouse. When nails become the visual focal point, every hand movement begins to feel theatrical. This not only distracts the viewer, but also unintentionally makes you seem distant, more performed than present. So what defines a refined set of nails? The answer lies in restraint, cleanliness, and harmony. A medium to short length, neatly shaped in a soft oval or almond style, always gives a pleasing, feminine, and approachable impression. Color also plays a crucial role. Neutral tones like beige, nude pink, milky white, wine red, or earthy brown create an impression that's classy, mature, yet still modern. If you want a small accent, a subtle glitter detail, or a tasteful accent nail is enough to set you apart without disrupting your overall sophistication. Another key point: no matter how beautiful, nails must be clean and well kept. Chipped polish, peeling gel, yellowed cuticles, or dirt along the edges can ruin your entire presentation. You don't have to visit the salon weekly, but you should adopt a home care routine. Gently file when nails grow out, use nail strengthener for weak nails, and above all, keep your hands clean. Let your hands speak of your meticulousness, your care, and your seasoned style. Sometimes, a clean, trimmed nail in a neutral color earns far more respect than the most dazzling design, because beauty doesn't lie in complexity, it lies in the way you know yourself and know what truly serves your presence. And that is the kind of beauty that earns admiration, not because people need to look again, but because the first glance already says enough. Fragrance, though invisible, touches the emotions more directly and deeply than almost anything else. You might forget someone's face over time, but the scent they leave behind can live on in your memory forever. Perfume isn't just a beauty product, it's a personal signature, a part of your essence. Yet among the hundreds of fragrances available on the market, not every scent speaks with refinement, especially when the chosen perfume is overly sweet, sugary, or reminiscent of youth. Many women, especially younger ones, or those longing to recapture freshness, are drawn to fragrances like vanilla, cotton candy, strawberry, or even cookie scents. While these may come across as charming and sweet at first encounter, on the skin of a mature woman, particularly those 35 and older, these scents often lack depth and grace. Sometimes, they give the impression that you're trying to hold on to youth, instead of embracing your warm, grounded beauty. Worse still, intensely sweet perfumes used in large quantities can feel invasive. You enter a room, and your scent arrives before you do, lingering in the air, clinging to the space, making others feel overwhelmed. The elegance of a woman doesn't lie in how noticeable her scent is, it lies in the opposite. People only recognize it when they come close, when they truly take in your presence. So what are the right choices? Choose fragrances that carry depth, subtlety, and emotion. Start with soft floral notes like jasmine, rose, or iris. These are inherently feminine and graceful. If you lean toward warmth and maturity, consider richer base notes like musk, sandalwood, amber, or even a hint of white pepper or dry spices. These scents don't announce themselves, they linger, they whisper, and they stay. How you wear perfume matters just as much as the scent itself. A refined woman doesn't wear fragrance like armor. Instead, she applies it gently, on the wrists, behind the ears, at the collarbone places that pulse and carry warmth, diffusing scent naturally. Some even spray into the air and walk through it, letting the fragrance fall softly over their clothes, no streaks, no overwhelming trace, just a subtle presence. A well-chosen scent doesn't just make people think you have taste, it creates a connection. It makes you more approachable, more trustworthy, more memorable. Because in the end, a beautiful fragrance isn't one that makes others say, "Wow, that smells strong," but one that makes them want to come closer, to stay a little longer, and to hear more from you. Jewelry, though small, is often the final touch that completes any look. A pair of delicate earrings, a graceful ring, or a subtle necklace can elevate an entire outfit. But on the flip side, when jewelry is too flashy or shows signs of wear, tarnished, peeling, or leaving green marks on the skin, even the most elegant ensemble can be instantly downgraded. That's how the tiniest details can quietly erode your overall refinement. In reality, Many people are initially drawn to the sparkle of affordable fashion jewelry. At first, these pieces look just like the real thing, shiny, eye-catching, even trendy. But after a few wears, the surface starts to dull, the thin plating peels, and worst of all, they leave unsightly grayish-green stains on your wrists, neck, or ears. These are not just signs of poor quality. They also hint at a lack of attention to detail. A discerning person will notice, and what they remember is not your style, but the slip in your standards. That doesn't mean you have to spend a fortune on real gold, silver, or diamonds. The issue isn't the monetary value, it's about durability and suitability. Today, there are many brands offering stainless steel, real gold-plated, or high-quality alloy pieces at reasonable prices. These don't tarnish, don't stain your skin, and most importantly, they retain their original beauty over time if cared for properly. One of the simplest secrets to maintaining beautiful jewelry is regular cleaning. A soft cloth, a bit of warm water, or an alcohol-free wipe is enough to remove sweat, dust, and slow down oxidation. Also, store your jewelry in a dry, clean place away from moisture, perfumes, and makeup. A velvet-lined box with individual compartments can greatly extend the life of your pieces. Aesthetically speaking, always favor less but better. A small pearl stud, a fine rose gold necklace, or a plain polished ring is often enough to express your style. These items don't scream, and that's exactly what makes them feel expensive. Loud, oversized, overly detailed pieces tend to feel cheap by contrast. If you love making a statement, choose one signature piece, a bracelet you always wear, or a pair of earrings that's unmistakably you. That creates personal style, not just trend following. Beautiful jewelry doesn't make you stand out by attracting attention to itself. It enhances your overall presence. It's like a whisper in the ear, not a shout in the room. And a woman who chooses her jewelry thoughtfully and takes good care of it is sending a clear message. I value myself even in the smallest details. And that is what makes her elegance timeless. We often think that to dress well, we need a full wardrobe filled with expensive, trendy pieces. But the truth is far simpler. You can wear an old sweater, a basic dress, or a years-old dark coat, as long as it's clean, pressed, free of pilling, and not covered in pet hair or dust. These seemingly small details are, in fact, the quiet barriers that can make you appear less refined no matter how good your taste may be. Have you ever seen someone whose outfit looked quite polished from afar, but up close, you noticed cat hair on their clothes? Or a luxurious wool coat with frayed threads at the sleeves? These details, tiny as they are, have a surprising power to lower the perceived value of your entire look. They suggest, consciously or not, that you're not giving enough care to yourself. And in that moment, your appearance is judged not for your clothes, but for the way you've let them become worn or disheveled. The most common culprit: sweaters or knitwear that have begun to pill, especially at friction-prone areas like the elbows, chest, or cuffs. Pilled fabric looks tired, even if the piece was once beautiful. Then there's pet hair for dog or cat owners. This is almost inevitable. Those fine strands clinging to pants, shirts, or scarves are not only unsightly but also create the impression of messiness, even if you're otherwise very clean. Often, it's just a matter of forgetting to roll your clothes before heading out. So what's the solution? No need to shop anew or change your style, just give a little more care. Invest in a lint roller and keep it somewhere visible near the door, in your purse, or beside your vanity. No matter how rushed you are, take 10 seconds to roll your clothes before stepping out. The result is immediate. Also, a mini fabric shaver can save countless sweaters that might otherwise be discarded. Each time you wash knitwear, turn it inside out and use a gentle wash cycle or a mesh laundry bag to reduce friction. Beyond that, give a little love to your wardrobe. Hang up items prone to wrinkling, fold those that stretch easily, and don't cram everything into one drawer. For fabrics that attract lint like wool, velvet, or fleece, store them separately or lightly. Cover them with a scarf to reduce dust. And if you know a certain item always attracts pet hair, avoid wearing it during playtime with your furry friends. This level of care in how you treat your clothing not only makes you look neater, but also sends a powerful message. I am attentive, organized, and I value myself. And beautifully, when you start tending to the small things, your entire presence begins to glow. No glitter, no extravagance required. A lint-free sweater, a scarf without cat hair sometimes. These quiet touches say far more than any trend or accessory ever could. They reveal someone who lives with intention, pride, and a very trustworthy sense of taste. Hair, though not always the first thing people notice, is often the most telling expression of a woman's character. The right hairstyle doesn't just flatter your face. It reflects your personality, attitude, and even your lifestyle. Yet, in pursuit of perfection, many women opt for styles that are overly stiff, overly sculpted, or too glossy, unintentionally stripping away the natural softness that defines true elegance. And in doing so, their image quietly becomes less graceful than they may realize. Imagine large, rigid curls frozen with hairspray, not a single strand out of place. Or an elaborate high bun fixed in place with a dozen pins. These may look striking in photographs or on the runway, but in everyday life, especially in the office, at a cafe, or during a casual conversation, they can make you seem like you're performing, rather than simply being yourself. Overstyled, overly slick, or highly constructed hair often gives off a sense of discomfort, like you're constantly worried about your appearance. And that unease reflects in your body language. You might subconsciously touch your hair repeatedly, worry if a strand is out of place, or check if your style is still intact. All of that distracts you from being present, and others can sense that tension even if they never say it aloud. The key to elegant hair is not in complexity, it's in softness and suitability. A well-shaped cut that frames your face, with natural movement and a healthy sheen, always gives the impression of polish without pressure. If your hair is thin, there's no need for large curls. A gentle bob may suit you better. If your hair is thick, skip the extreme straightening and go for a light blowout or layered cut that moves with you. For mature women, a short or mid-length style that softly hugs the face or is tied back in a low bun often suggests intelligence, calm, and experience. What matters most is that your hair feels alive, that it moves when you turn your head, when you smile, when you walk. A hair that's too stiff, like a shell, locks your face in limiting how much of your emotion can come through. But soft, natural hair, even if a strand falls gently against your cheek, makes you seem approachable, present, and effortlessly warm. Ultimately ask yourself, does your hair reflect the energy you want to share, or is it demanding too much attention? A sophisticated woman doesn't need a complicated hairstyle, she only needs one that allows her to feel comfortable as herself. When that happens, hair stops being an accessory and becomes a part of your personality, gentle, expressive, and uniquely yours. You can wear an elegant outfit, apply flawless makeup, choose the perfect fragrance, and still leave no lasting impression if your body language is filled with anxiety. A woman may be polished from head to toe, but if her eyes are always downcast, her hands fidgeting, her voice uncertain, or her steps hesitant, then all those outward elements lose half their impact. Because no matter how perfect your appearance, it cannot replace the one thing that truly defines your presence, your inner energy. A lack of confidence is nothing to be ashamed of. We've all experienced it, especially during transitional phases of life, when we're no longer youthful and carefree, but not yet fully at peace with ourselves. The problem arises when that insecurity starts to control our body language. Whether we realize it or not, we begin to signal to the world, I'm not sure I belong here. And when you don't believe in yourself, how can others? You don't need to fake confidence. Just start with acceptance that you may not be perfect, you may be nervous, but you're here, fully present, with a genuine desire to connect. And something magical happens the moment you pause. Take a deep breath, lift your chin, and smile. Your presence instantly changes. A woman with true presence is often quiet. She doesn't speak excessively, doesn't strive to please everyone, doesn't smile too quickly. Instead, she sits with composure, her gaze steady, her hands resting lightly on a glass or folded gently on the table. When she speaks, her voice is even and calm, as though every word carries weight. She doesn't need to claim space because she is the space. Full, grounded, and at ease without having to prove anything. Sometimes, we think confidence is something we must add. More knowledge, more skills, more accessories, more lipstick. But real confidence comes from what we learn to let go. Letting go of anxiety, comparison, self-doubt. And once you begin shedding those outer layers of expectation and insecurity, you'll find yourself feeling lighter, freer, more at peace. Watch how you enter a room. Do you rush to find the nearest corner seat? Or do you walk in slowly, with your back straight and a smile ready for whoever meets your eye? Do you constantly apologize when it's not necessary? Do you lower your head when someone looks your way? Or are you calm enough to say, I'm here, and I don't need to be perfect to deserve being seen? A graceful appearance may make an impression, but true presence expressed through a steady gaze, calm hands, and an emotionally resonant voice is what makes people remember you. And when you walk into a space not to impress, but to be sincerely yourself, that's when your inner and outer beauty meet and create something rare and irreplaceable: aura. After going through all the seemingly small details from your skin, your hair, your gaze, to even your hands and scent, we realize something important. Elegance is not about being flawless in each part, but about the harmony between your inner and outer worlds. A woman doesn't need designer labels, dramatic makeup, or expensive jewelry to be stunning. If she walks with calm, looks with warmth, and smiles with softness, people will sense something valuable in her. Because elegance, at its core, is a way of living quiet, unforced, but deep enough to touch others. There are things we don't need to fix, only to release, not add, but subtract. When you wear less makeup, doubt yourself less, and stop trying to be someone else, you return to yourself whole and peaceful. And that, no fashion trend or beauty fad can ever replace. Ask yourself every morning in the mirror, where can I be a little softer today? And when you choose to simplify, to be gentle, to be honest, you don't just look beautiful, you become beauty itself. A beauty that is alive, that touches others and stays with them long after you've gone.